Alrighty, we're back with round 4. Having another good night so far, undefeated going into the final round. And if you'd like to hear me talk about the changes I made to my deck since last week, you can refer to the round 1 video in this playlist. But for my round 4 opponent, they are playing mono white taxes. Pretty similar to the list that we saw in round 1, the black-white Eldrazi taxes. And the main difference is, of course, as the name would imply, is there's no color black and there's no Eldrazi. So it doesn't run any of these cards. Now, you're definitely taking out some powerful cards, but what the deck loses in, let's call, diversity, it gains in consistency. The mono-white version is no less powerful than the black-white Eldrazi version. In fact, I'd want to say that mono-white taxes is kind of like the parent archetype, and that black-white Eldrazi is like the subgenre, although I guess that's up for debate. Anyways, about today's deck. It shares the core Taxes cards with most other Taxes deck. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and Leonin Arbiter wouldn't be a Taxes deck without those two guys. Same as Restoration Angel and Flickerwisp, both present here in this deck. Now, what makes it different than the black-white Eldrazi list is the Mirran Crusaders have moved from the sideboard to the main board, and it's also playing 2 copies of Serra Avenger, white, 3 mana, flying vigilance. You can't play Serra Avenger during the first, second, or third turns of the game. Which is fine, because on turn 2, you're wanting to play your staple cards like Leonin Arbiter or Thalia. There was also another interesting addition that I saw game 1, so it must be in the main board, Spirit of the Labyrinth. Each player cannot draw more than 1 card each turn. This is relevant because so many decks in the format play cantrips like Opt and Serum Visions, decks like Death Shadow, Storm, Jeskai variants, decks that occupy a pretty large percentage of the meta. They also have Phyrexian Revoker as a spicy one-of. As it enters the battlefield, name a non-land card. Activated abilities of the source with the chosen name can't be activated, so a bit of a silver bullet. Against Affinity, I'm sure they would name either Cranial Plating or Arcbound Ravager, something like that. So, for this last card of the main board, I didn't actually see my opponent cast it, but after researching this archetype online, it seems like it's pretty popular to run a 2-of Smuggler's Copter. Now, there's a reason this card got banned in Standard, and I love seeing it played in Modern. Besides seeing it in this deck, I've also seen it in Merfolk and a few others. Essentially, being able to crew for 1, and then looting whenever you attack or block with it, that's value no matter what format you're talking about. Now, as for the sideboard, I don't want to see Settle the Wreckage, another Standard card that's making its way into Modern, and for good reason. It's just a total blowout. Of course, Stony Silence is here, that's no fun, and Kataki, so there's a lot to be wary of, games 2 and 3. Also, Selfless Spirit. In a deck that runs Aether Vials, where you can flash it out and give all your creatures indestructible until end of turn at instant speed, man, there's a lot of shenanigans you can do with that. And they might also bring in Pithing Needle. It's like 2 more Phyrexian Revoker type effects. And that about wraps it up for the sideboard plan that we have to watch out for. Let's go ahead and jump into game 1 and see how it goes. I'll keep it. Bottom.
Yeah,
I'll start us off. Much Opal and Zero Drop. Go ahead.
I feel like this might be maybe like 250 right now.
Draw stab. Ouch! That is not good. Pass. Maybe I should have gone to 5.
Nice eye.
Because I don't run any fetch lands, whenever Leonin Arbiter is resolved, I usually don't fret it too badly. Although, as we're about to find out, Leonin Arbiter plus Ghost Quarter is still good, whether or not you run fetch lands. 3? Yep. Yeah. 17, 20, and I'll pass turn.
Tap, drop. Ghost Quarter Spire.
Seems good.
And then Path Through the Doctor.
Oh, wait.
You can't search.
Yeah. I saw like the bottom 20 cards.
Just shuffle it up.
It can be easy to forget about Leonin Arbiter, but thankfully my opponent was nice about it, and we're just going to shuffle it up and move on. So, sorry guys. No biggie, I guess. I have a feeling that like my draws would have been good, and now they're going to be terrible.
Alright, sweet 2.
Can't block. 18. Go. Damn. Untap, upkeep, draw step. Pass turn. Draw. Alright, Darksteel Citadels when I need them. Yeah. Feel the ruin. Can't pay. Granted, I kept a 6 that probably should have been a 5, but I'm really feeling the heat from taxes this time. Behold, the power of Lane and Arbiter. Just him and a couple of Ghost Quarters are doing the job. Pass turn. Draw. Yep. Oh boy, another Field of Ruin. I have to admit that's pretty disheartening, but it gives me an appreciation for the deck. It's pretty darn cool. And this is just one approach of a deck with a lot of different angles, so I might be interested in playing a Taxes deck sometime soon. Yeah, that's all I got. Try to swing for 3? Yeah. Gotcha at 14 all? Mm-hmm. Sicko.
Tap drop.
I'm F6ing. You're a free raid.
2.
Yep, 12.
That wasn't a good representation of what I never did. Check away my
Good card. What's that? Upkeep. Draw step. And this is my chance. Gotta make sure I do it right. Move to combat? Mm-hmm. 4? Yep. Alright, at this point it's pretty much over, and I need to start thinking about my sideboard plans. Alright, go ahead.
Untap, draw. Combat.
6.
4, 5, 6.
I'll be at 6.
I feel the ruin your expired.
Seems good.
Let's play this.
Alright, well that was a pretty thorough beating. I probably should have mulliganed to 5, I kept a bad 6, and I didn't respect the Lane and Arbiter. So hopefully I learned from those mistakes in Game 2, and make it to see Game 3. It'll be a good learning experience. I'm gonna try it. Go ahead.
Draw.
People have been being
Moisture will bend their toils.
They're like, oh, you've been smuggling things into Mexico? No, they can't.
Good card. Field of Ruin into Aether Vial is a pretty good start for that deck, so hopefully I have some strong plays to follow up my mediocre turn 1 with. I may regret this. Tap, activate, Metalcraft, 1 in a red, blow up the Aether Vial. Well, that's pretty interesting. In round 1, when I played Black White Eldrazi Taxes, I made that same play on turn 2, and it ended up winning me the game. So we'll see how it goes this time. I had nothing better going on, so... Go. When I saw the flames, my heart stopped. It's not good.
I decided I wanted to try it out with Lingering Souls, the same craft version, and play it for
Custody.
Not a legal play. I need to read my opponent's cards. I'm so sorry. I can only say that it's the end of a long night of Magic and that I must be getting tired. Because I usually don't make that many misplays, but at least my opponent is a real good sport about it all. That's rough.
So there's a lot of strange choices.
Damn.
2.
Yep, 18.
I mean, you can always start out with like
Displace.
3
Pretty good.
Pass.
Tap, upkeep, draw step. Well, honestly, my outs are pretty few and far between here. Master of Ethereum would be good. Also, a Galvanic Blast, maybe, to help me take care of Thalia. That would also be a good play. But for now, it's a repeat of Game 1. Just me getting my butt totally handed to me. I usually don't get wrecked until they resolve
4,
Displacer.
5, 6.
12.
The black in this deck is mainly flashback, lingering souls.
I'm gonna pass.
Tap, upkeep, draw step. Non-creature. 1, 2, 3, 4. Red, let's say. Well, Gyaraper Aether Grid doesn't do a whole lot here, but he's got me on a 2-turn clock, so I have to do what I can. Activate Grid, blow up Thalia.
I'll risk.
Targeting Thalia.
Thalia.
Resolves. Well, unfortunately, I believe that's the nail in the coffin for this game. I can't really do much about that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Alright, combat.
Yep.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I'll be at 3. Mountain, Lightning Bolt.
I'm gonna Field of Ruin your Higma.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was my only hope.
We get to search.
Because there's no Arbiter this time.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast Wicker Wisp.
Yep.
Targeting Blaze Blaster.
For all intents and purposes, I have conceded, but I want to see what my top deck is. Man, what a great performance from that Taxes deck, and also the Taxes player. Winning is nice, but it's always cool to see another deck perform really well. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.